out by saying this. Usually I start out by talking about the usual suspects, but anybody watching who survived the epic Game 3 of the World Series last night, 18 innings, until Freddie Freeman hits a game-winning home run. The Dodgers have a 2-1 lead in the World Series, and you gotta wonder, somewhere Vin Scully and Joe Garagiola are smiling. Vin Scully probably saying, in a world that has been so improbable, the impossible has just happened. Or, if a picture is worth 1,000 words, you may have just seen 1,000,000 of them. Two of the great epic sayings that Vin Scully said during his wonderful career. But 2-1, the Dodgers lead. And you gotta wonder, the Dodgers now have the advantage in this year's World Series. Can they win it? Or can Toronto win their first World Series in 33 years? You know, when Toronto makes the World Series, it's a good omen for the Bills. But we'll get to that at a later time. Now, let's talk about the team that just seems to be just trudging along, muddling through. Yeah, since Angeli went down, that's what the Orange have been doing. Just trudging along, muddling through. And I mean, it didn't look like in some ways Collins improved. But if he improved, the defense has taken a dump. Boy, giving up about 560 yards of offense to a Tech team that I think is a dark horse to be in the college football playoff. Yeah, Georgia Tech is playing some lights out football. Their quarterback is doing some pretty good playing, passing and running. Right now, you gotta think the Ramblin' Wreck, which is their other nickname, their big nicknames, the Yellow Jackets, could be right there for the college football playoff. The way that college football has been this year, so unpredictable. And heck, even Navy's being considered for the college football playoff. That, in another way, is really unusual. There goes my phone. Don't worry about that. I mean, I kind of wonder if that was a crank call. I didn't apologize for my phone. But look, you gotta wonder. Georgia Tech, Navy, possibly being in the playoff. But I digress. We're muddling through right now. It looks like we're going through the motions. Yeah, we're playing for next year. I think the greenness of this Orange team is definitely starting to show. Yeah, we're pretty young. And we got ones that can only get better with time. We're probably playing the rest of the season, getting ready for next year. And of course, we got Halloween coming up. And we also got Bill Belichick and probably his lady friend, trophy girlfriend, if you ask me, coming into the dome. You know what? Let's orange out. Let's play a trick on Mr. Belichick, if you know what I mean. Yeah, Halloween in the dome. Gonna be a scary experience for North Carolina. Gonna hopefully be a nice treat for the Orange. Bring out your orange. Let's get some pumpkins. Let's get some goblins and some ghosts. And you know what? Hey, Charlie Brown, you look around inside the dome and you know what? There is a great pumpkin. What, is Linus going to be there? Or is he going to be still stewing about missing the great pumpkin on his rounds again this year? I mean, heck, Lucy and the rest of them ought to think, hey, it's not bad to have a little bit of an imagination. To me, I think imagination is one of the best things to have. But you know what? There is a great pumpkin, and it's going to take care of Belichick this Friday night. Let's go Orange. Beat the Tar Heels. No Carolina Blue, please. Now I'm going to go from talking about them to saying, hey, the Bills are definitely back on track. Speaking of Carolina Blue, yeah, that's what it seems as though the uniforms were for the Panthers. the Red Rifle was at quarterback for the Panthers. You know, Andy Dalton has had some pretty decent success against the Bills in his long career. You know what? I don't know whether he's going to be a candidate for the Hall of Fame, but Andy Dalton's had a pretty good career, but it's pretty evident looking what happened Sunday that it may be time for the Red Rifle to hang it up. Yeah, Buffalo took care of business, sacking Dalton 7 times, stripping him twice, including A.J. Epinesa with a nice little interception. Boy, it could have been a good thing had he gone in. But hey, he got stopped at the 1. But hey, the guy from Epinesa showed the girl from Ipanema that hey, he can run with the ball. And James Cook, what a game. You know what? Buffalo ought to put game plans around Cook and keep him in. He shouldn't be spelled so much because you know what? There's a nice drop off between him, Davis, and Johnson. You know what? Keep Cook going. And I mean, until we get some help with the wide receivers, you know what? He should be the one that we make the game plan around. But if he gets in trouble, he can't get the yardage. I kind of wonder if Buffalo's offense might be in trouble. Of course, Buffalo's defense may be in trouble, and Oliver probably is out for an extended period. But we got help. Larry Ogunjobi and Michael Holt returned from their suspensions, and they look pretty good in playing. Ogunjobi, I don't think, can totally replace Oliver. Maybe we can get some help in other places. But you know what? The defense was back on track. A big 40-9 win over the hapless Panthers. But of course, we got good old Patrick Mahomes and Kansas City coming into Highmark Stadium. If we got a good game plan to combat Mr. Mahomes, let's see it. This is an eagerly anticipated game, and it seems as though the Chiefs, off of their slow start, have gotten back on track. Woe is everybody if they make another run towards the Super Bowl. You know what? People are probably saying, enough. We want to see another AFC team. We want to see Buffalo. Well, maybe if we can get a few of our things worked out, guess what? It may be the Bills. Of course, New England seems to be back on track. And of course, Indianapolis is playing lights out. But we'll see what happens. It's almost midpoint of the season. And let's see what Buffalo can do as we get past midseason and head down the stretch. It's going to be an interesting second half, starting against Kansas City, then Miami, and so forth. We'll see what happens. Now I'm going from talking about them to being local. Hey, for the first time in 25 years, the Blue Devils emerged victorious over Waterloo. Although certain skeptics can say, hey, we've only played them 8 times in 25 years. Thanks to all the wrangling that Section 5 did with football, including that pathetic, little scheduling thing where, hey, we had to travel like 2.5 hours sometimes for games. But a resounding win, 48-0, over what pretty much was a hapless Waterloo team for all season. And I mean, I don't know whether they want to play another postseason game or ruin their 500 record. Well, whatever. Well, a nice little resounding way to end the season for the Blue Devils. And Waterloo, it almost is merciful that their season has come to an end. I mean, I hate to talk ill, but I mean, that Waterloo could have fielded a better team, and it could have been a better end for Scott Maloney. I hear that pretty much he's hanging up his coach's whistle. And you know what? A great guy is heading off into the sunset, but I don't think he's totally heading off into the sunset. I'm sure he's going to be doing something else. But whatever. Scott, it was great with the memories, especially with some of the past Waterloo teams, especially when you had Dylan Caraballo playing for you. But I digress. It'll be an interesting sectional period, and we are watching minors in Waterloo with sectionals coming up, especially Waterloo's girls volleyball team continuing to play for Cameron Thistle. Let's keep it going. She was a wonderful young lady who we lost way too soon. Let's keep it going, Waterloo girls. And last but not least, how about the NBA? That whole thing that there has been apparently a gambling scandal, especially with rigged poker games and the mafia and Chauncey Billups and Rozier also he's earning millions of dollars. Why would he be in rigged poker games? And why would they involve the mafia? You know what happens when you cross them? Hey, leave the car, take the cannolis. Or, you know what? He's going to sleep with the fishes, like Luca Brasi. Or, you know what? You're probably going to get cement shoes. As you know what happens if you cross them. Not good, not a good choice, guys. Not a good choice. But you know what? It's going to be interesting looking forward, because the SU basketball team got off to a good start against UB in their exhibition win. Now, hopefully, they're on pace to win their second exhibition game, and then get ready because they play Binghamton Monday night the 3rd to start the season. It's going to be interesting as the SU basketball team tips off. And that's all I got for this week. I'll see you next week.